Nicol's Commentary, Volume 3, Quermud Ugly, November 3rd, 1945, A Note on Relaxation. This is the first video of 2 from this particular meeting. It is a long time since we spoke about relaxing. On several occasions in the past, we were told that we had to relax to practice relaxation every day. Of course, this has become a familiar word having no meaning nowadays in ordinary parlance, but when the work speaks about relaxing, it is speaking about something quite different that we should all practice. Let me remind you what the work says about relaxing. It says that all relaxation must begin with the small muscles, such as the small muscles of the face, the fingers, and the toes. We were taught to begin with the face and to put initial attention into the small muscles of the face and to relax them. The muscles around the mouth, the muscles around the eyes, and the eye muscles themselves. Now, if we speak about relaxing, we have to speak about internal attention. We have 2 kinds of attention, one external and one internal. For example, when one observes oneself, one's moods, thoughts, and so on, one is using internal attention. That is, attention not directed towards any external object, visible, tangible, or audible through the senses. Self-observation is not about anything that the senses can see, hear, etc., but about only what the internal sense can observe. This is internal attention. In regard to placing consciousness, though, through attention into different parts of your body, you must begin this gradually. For instance, you can become conscious through internal attention in a particular part of your body, let us say your left foot, and then switch it over to your right foot and so on. It's quite useless to try to relax unless you have some idea what the internal attention directed towards a particular part of the body means. As I said, the work teaches that relaxation begins with relaxing the small muscles of the face. It would be no good to try to relax if your eyes were screwed up and your mouth pursed and your jaws clenched. For this reason, it is necessary to become internally conscious of the state of the muscles in your face to begin with. And this act of internal attention will produce in you the right condition for relaxing the whole body. The point, however, is that you have to do it. As you know, most people have no time to do anything like that. They're always carried on in the life stream of useless thoughts, anxieties, and worries. And people even think that to interrupt this purely mechanical stream of things that occupy them the whole time is something that they should not do. That is quite wrong, and so on. But this is not the case. If you can interrupt this mechanical stream that governs you, the stream of life, this cinema film that is always running through you, even for a moment, you will begin to get force. So try to begin with putting your internal attention into the muscles of your face and notice how much attention is lying there. Once Mr. Ouspensky said that in modern life, it's always producing tensions in our muscles, anxious expressions, hurried movements, and all this waste an enormous amount of energy. But for heaven's sake, do not try to relax the small muscles of your face while you are crossing Piccadilly Circus. This would be a great mistake. In fact, it might be called making right effort at the wrong time. And if you make right effort at the wrong time or wrong effort at the right time, you will get into difficulties. There is a time for everything, that is, a right time at which to do things. For this reason, I wish tonight to have the following passage from Ecclesiastes read about the right time to do things. For if you make an effort in the wrong time, even although the effort may be right, it will have no result. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. That's from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. Imagine standing still amid the traffic and trying to relax the small muscles of your face, and then you are run over complaining that you were told to do it. This is merely foolishness comparable with the foolishness of people in the early work who were told to go against mechanicalness and thought it would be a good thing to eat coal or to stand upright in empty buses or to eat with a knife in the left hand and the fork in the right hand. All these efforts are useless because they're not intelligent. The work is about intelligent effort. We asked a question the other day at one of the meetings here. Have you studied your being at all? And have you noticed what in your being should change in light of the work? Supposing you have never observed your being at all and keep on trying to do this work just as you are told, will it do you any good? Will it connect itself with will it connect itself with yourself? Supposing, for example, you never notice your negative emotions, your envy or your jealousy and so on, and you always try to work on your emotional center in a theoretical way. Will it do you any good?